I remember a story from 1989. A radio talk show host was interviewing Mother Teresa. She was supporting the opening of a newly constructed homeless shelter. She actually slept in the shelter the night before the interview. And I think there might have been two radio talk show hosts, but one for sure was Pat McMahon. Not sure how to spell it. He is an Irish Catholic, rather spiritual, or at least he thought he was. And as he was interviewing her, he kept repeatedly asking her a question, and she didn't answer it at first. And then finally, she said to, what can we do for you? What can, you spent your whole life helping other people. What can we do for you, Mother Teresa? And she finally answered. She said, the one thing you can do is to find somebody who feels really alone and persuade them that they're not alone. That's what you can do for me. She said, tomorrow morning, get up at 4 a.m., go into the streets of Phoenix, find someone who believes that he's alone and convince him that he's not. I think that's close to the actual quote. And that story really moved me because I think this is really the trouble with trebles in our society. Everyone has this gentle vulnerability within them, but yet people are hurting each other. And, it's my opinion, if people were not objectifying each other, they couldn't hurt each other. I mean, for one human being to hurt another, the one human being doing the hurting has to somehow objectify the person they're hurting, like it's okay, like they're an object, they're not a human being. So, to humanize people is the answer. And I think to do it personally is key. We have to be the one to let other people know that they are loved. We have to be the reason that someone feels loved today. And that's partly why I continually say in my speeches, whether it's for recovery audiences or DWI offenders in jails or prisons, wherever it is that'll let me in the door, I want to repeat this thing, about touching other people's hearts and allowing our hearts to be touched, to be opened, and what our responsibility is to do that and why. And the old quote, if a person has a why, they'll always find a how. So I don't know that I buy that 100%. Sometimes we find the how, and there's something intrinsic about the experience that we might have that we had no clue before it happened about what it would mean or why. It's like the universe just seems like magical belief, but the universe just provides an opportunity for a person to wake up, and their heart is open spontaneously, and then they get their why. Sometimes the emotion precedes the thinking, sometimes the thinking precedes the emotion. But whatever it looks like, no matter how we sound, if it sounds like we're doing it in a broken fashion because we don't know how to go about it, or we're facing our own anxiety, or somebody else is experiencing anxiety and we're trying to not get triggered by that, because when you show up vulnerable, sometimes it touches on a part of the other person that's vulnerable, and it scares the bejesus out of them, and their anxiety doesn't help our anxiety. And our anxiety doesn't help theirs. So, we have to go within. We have to open our heart, no matter how difficult it is, and do it innocently. It's like you can't bring justice in a world that has turned their heart off. No peace, no justice. It's an inside job. And, forcing solutions and harboring meanness in the form of imposing harmony. I think that's a mistake, at least as I understand it in the program, where, I see God as love. I don't see it as force. I don't see it as, something ugly that needs to be squashed. The program is about we quit fighting everything and everybody. And if we've turned our will and our life over to the care of God, how can we have a problem? It's not our problem. And it's that surrender and that trust to the supreme, what's the right word? Intelligence of the universe. Some people don't like the word God. Call it what you will. But when I give it up, God shows up. There's never been a 3-day waiting period. So there's the story of Mother Teresa, and I hope someone gets something out of it, particularly my friend from the Rosemount, Illinois. Peace out.